If this doesn't motivate you, nothing will. In the educational and powerful preaching style of Bishop T.D. Jakes, ladies and gentlemen, sons and daughters, brothers and sisters in the classroom of life, let me make this plain. You need to understand something deep in your spirit today. You are not here by accident. I don't care what they told you. I don't care what your environment looked like. I don't care how many people walked away from you, how many times you were overlooked, underestimated, ignored, or pushed to the side. You are not here by mistake. Some of you were born in broken homes. Some of you were raised in systems that tried to strip you of your voice. Maybe you never had a father. Maybe your mother didn't know how to nurture you. Maybe your past is so cluttered with trauma that you can barely look back without tears. But let me tell you, God doesn't need perfect situations to bring forth powerful people. He uses the broken pieces, the rejected vessels, the overlooked ones. He takes the chaos of your past and turns it into the canvas of your destiny. You weren't born to be invisible. You weren't placed here to merely survive. You were planted, appointed, assigned. Heaven had a meeting and your name came up. You were chosen before the foundations of the earth, selected for such a time as this, not just to exist, but to impact, to build, to lift, to lead. Some of you are measuring your worth by where you are, not realizing that your current location is not your final destination. Just because you're in a dry season doesn't mean you're a dry person. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Delay is not denial, and detours are often part of divine direction. You didn't miss your moment. You're in middle of it, being shaped for what's next. You've got to stop cursing your story. You've got to stop wishing your life looked like someone else's. You didn't get the wrong script. You've got the right one for your purpose. Every heartbreak you went through, every disappointment that hit you, every no that devastated you, it didn't destroy you because it was meant to build you. You were forged in fire. That's why the enemy has tried to break you so many times, because he sees something on you that you don't even see in yourself. God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have a perfect past or a flawless resume. You just have to show up willing. Willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to fail forward, willing to trust that even in the unknown, your steps are ordered. And some of you have been surviving for so long that you forgot you were meant to thrive. You've settled for just making it, but let me stir you up. You are not an accident. There's a reason you keep waking up every morning. There's a reason the bullet missed you, the overdose didn't kill you, the depression didn't bury you. There's a reason your heart kept beating through every breakdown. Purpose kept pulling you. Destiny kept calling you. Grace covered you. Not because you were lucky, but because you are chosen. You've got to stop shrinking to fit places you've outgrown. You've got to stop guessing yourself. You've got to stop waiting for someone to hand you the permission slip to be great. You've got to remember who you are, and more importantly, whose you are. You are a child of the King. That means there's royalty in your blood, power in your words, and favor on your life. I know the enemy has been whispering lies in your ear, telling you you're not enough, telling you it's too late, telling you you're too broken, too damaged, too flawed. But the devil is a liar. Because if it was really too late, why are you still here? If you were too broken, why are you still breathing? If you were finished, why is there still fight in your bones? You're still here because your story's not over. You're still here because there's more in you to write. More lives to touch, more gifts to release, more lessons to teach. You've still got time to become everything God created you to be. You may have been born into dysfunction, but you were called into destiny. You may have been overlooked, but you were never unseen. Heaven knows your name, and when God is for you, it doesn't matter who's against you. His plans override your pain. His purpose outweighs your past. Stop apologizing for being alive. Stop minimizing your brilliance. Stop hiding your voice just to keep other people comfortable. The world doesn't need another copy. It needs you. The authentic, anointed, powerful version of you. The one that's been tried by fire and still came out with a testimony. The one that's been through hell and still has a hallelujah. If nobody told you today, let me be the one to say it. You matter. You belong. You were born with a reason. You are not an accident. You are a divine appointment. Pain, let's talk about it. Not the surface, level kind. I'm talking about the pain that doesn't show up on X-rays. The pain that doesn't heal with a bandage. The kind that lingers in your soul long after the people who caused it are gone. The pain that tries to rewrite your worth, rewire your mind, and redefine your identity. Yes, that pain, now hear me, pain is not a punishment. It is not proof that God has forgotten about you. It is not the evidence that you're unworthy or cursed. No, pain is often the very tool God uses to forge your power. You cannot walk in your full authority until you have walked through some kind of adversity. You will never tap into your deepest strength until you've faced your darkest storm. It's easy to shout on the mountaintop, but strength is born in the valley. Character is carved in the cave. Wisdom is found in the wilderness. Pain is not just an intruder in your life. It is a teacher, and one of the best you'll ever have, because pain will show you what comfort tries to hide. It reveals what convenience conceals. Don't despise the struggle. Don't rush the process. Don't curse the hardship, because the things you are trying to escape might be the very things God is using to elevate you. Pain doesn't mean the story is over. Sometimes it means the real story is just beginning. Look back over your life. Really look. Think about the times you were broken, rejected, lied on, left out, overlooked. Think about the loss, the betrayal, the heartbreak, the injustice, and now look at who you are today. Stronger, wiser, more compassionate, more focused, more determined. Why? Because pain birthed something in you that peace never could. The truth is, we all want power, but nobody wants pain. We want purpose without the process, but the oil doesn't flow until the olive is crushed. Diamonds don't shine until coal has been pressured. Gold doesn't glitter until it has been refined by fire. And you will not rise into the fullness of your calling until you've walked through something that tried to kill you and failed. Some of you have been wondering why God didn't stop it. You've been angry, confused, even bitter. But what if God didn't allow that pain to destroy you? What if He allowed it to develop you? What if the betrayal was the push you needed to finally move? What if the rejection was redirection? What if the loss wasn't punishment? It was positioning. There are lessons that only pain can teach. Pain teaches patience. Pain teaches gratitude. Pain teaches discernment. Pain wakes up the parts of you that comfort put to sleep. You didn't really learn how to pray until you were hurting. You didn't understand what real love was until you were abandoned. You didn't appreciate peace until you lost it. And here's the truth. The people who have been through the most pain often carry the greatest power. Not because they're special, but because they didn't let the pain define them. They let it refine them. They didn't run from it. They learned from it. They didn't use it as an excuse. They used it as evidence that they are still here for a reason. You have survived things that would have crushed other people. You have endured storms that would have sunk other ships. You have walked through fires that should have consumed you. But you came out not even smelling like smoke. That's not weakness. That's power. That's proof that something greater is working on the inside of you. Don't let your pain go to waste. Don't come out of the fire empty-handed. Don't cry all those tears and come out bitter instead of better. If you're going to go through pain, let it produce something. Let it give birth to vision. Let it shape your purpose. Let it clarify your priorities. Let it deepen your worship. Let it raise your standard. Let it open your eyes. What hurt you doesn't have to haunt you. What tried to break you doesn't have to bind you. You can rise from it. You can grow from it. And most importantly, you can help someone else because of it. That's when you know you've been transformed. When you stop bleeding and start building. When your testimony becomes someone else's survival guide. When your tears become someone else's breakthrough. Some of the most powerful people in the world are not the loudest, the richest, or the most famous. They are the people who have faced unthinkable pain and came out full of purpose. They're the quiet warriors. The mothers who raise children through grief. the fathers who kept going despite failure, the entrepreneurs who lost everything and started over, the students who studied while battling depression, the leaders who led with a limp. That's power. So the next time pain shows up at your door, don't just ask, why me? Ask, what am I meant to learn from this? What am I meant to give birth to through this? Because once you understand that pain is not your prison, it's your platform, you will stop resisting it and start rising from it. And when you rise, oh, when you rise, you will discover that the pain you thought would destroy you was actually the womb of the person you were always meant to become. Desire is easy. Anybody can want something. Anybody can dream. Anybody can say, I want to be successful, or I want to change my life. Desire is where most people start, but very few ever finish the race they desire to run. Why? Because desire alone is not enough. If desire was enough, we'd all be fit, wealthy, healed, focused, consistent, and victorious. But the truth is, while desire opens the door, discipline is what walks you through it. Desire is the fire that gets you moving, but discipline is the engine that keeps you going when the fire dies down. Motivation may get you out of bed one morning, but it is discipline that builds a legacy. Desire gets excited when the music is playing and the lights are on. Discipline shows up when nobody is clapping, when the room is silent, when the journey feels thankless and says, I'm still here. I'm still committed. I'm still grinding. You cannot live by feelings and expect to see the fullness of your future. Feelings are inconsistent. They rise and fall like waves. One day you feel inspired. The next day you feel overwhelmed. One moment you're confident. The next you're questioning everything. But discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline says, I made a decision, and my decision will not be controlled by my mood. Too many people are enslaved to how they feel. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like studying. I don't feel like being kind. But if your future is always waiting for you to feel ready, you'll never arrive. Discipline is the bridge between your intentions and your transformation. It is the daily decision to align your actions with your assignment, no matter how difficult, no matter how tedious, no matter how invisible your progress may seem. Let's be real. Discipline is hard. It's hard to say no to things that feel good in the moment. It's hard to sacrifice sleep to chase a dream. It's hard to delay gratification when shortcuts are everywhere. But you've got to decide, do you want comfort or do you want change, because you can't have both? Discipline is the price you pay to live a life that desire only fantasizes about. You've got to stop waiting on the right time. There is no perfect moment. There is no magical window when all your distractions disappear. Discipline makes the most of the messy. Discipline finds a way in the chaos. It says, I don't need perfect conditions to grow. I just need a made-up mind. The world celebrates talent, but talent without discipline is wasted potential. Desire can get you noticed, but discipline is what earns you respect. People may admire what you start, but they remember what you finish. Discipline is the mark of maturity. It says, I'm not just chasing feelings, I'm building something real. Some of the greatest breakthroughs in life don't come through inspiration. They come through repetition, day in, day out. Wake up, show up, keep pushing, even when you don't see results, even when the progress is slow. Even when the voice in your head says, this isn't working. Discipline answers back, keep going, keep grinding, the breakthrough is coming. And let me teach you this, discipline doesn't remove the struggle. It just refuses to surrender to it. You will still feel tempted. You will still feel tired. But disciplined people know how to keep walking even when their legs are shaking. They know how to keep their word even when no one is watching. They don't just set goals, they set standards. That's the difference between wishing and winning. Wishing waits for external circumstances. Winning creates internal commitments. You cannot want victory and keep habits that are loyal to defeat. You cannot want to rise while practicing what keeps you bound. You've got to choose your future over your feelings. You've got to wake up and decide, I will no longer be a slave to what I feel like doing. I will serve what I was born to do. Do you want to be average? Keep doing what's easy. But if you want to be excellent, if you want to be great, if you want to be who God called you to be, you've got to master yourself. Discipline is not just about structure, it's about freedom. Freedom to say no, freedom to focus, freedom to finish. Desire can take you to the door, but only discipline will walk you into the room and keep you there. Anyone can be inspired for a moment, but only the disciplined can be consistent for a lifetime. And the world doesn't need more inspired people. It needs more consistent ones. Your family, your business, your calling, your community, they don't need another moment of hype. They need the version of you that shows up even when it's hard. So don't wait until you feel like it. Train your will to serve your vision. Train your habits to support your healing. Train your life to reflect your purpose. Because desire is what you want, but discipline is who you become, and who you become will always outlast what you feel. Your destiny is not waiting on your emotions to agree. It's waiting on your discipline to activate. The life you want, it's already possible, but the question is, are you disciplined enough to build it? Most people live their lives functioning below their capacity, not because they aren't talented, not because they aren't gifted, not because they don't have purpose, but because somewhere along the way they started believing a lie. A lie that said, you're not enough. A lie that said, this is all there is. A lie that told you, people like you don't go that far. And so you settled, you adjusted, you shrank. You convinced yourself that survival was success, and mediocrity became comfortable. But I came to tell you today, there is more in you than what you've been living. There is more in you than what they told you. There is more in you than your job title, more than your background, more than your bank account, more than your trauma, more than your degree. What God placed in you is bigger than anything that's happened to you. You've been carrying brilliance, creativity, power, innovation, healing, influence. All of it, locked inside you, waiting for your permission to come forth. See, we often underestimate ourselves because we've been trained to focus on our limitations. We measure ourselves by our failures. We compare our weaknesses to other people's strengths. We look at where we are instead of who we are. But the truth is, your real value, you can't be seen with the naked eye. It's not on the outside, it's in the well within. Deep down inside you is a reservoir of untapped greatness that hasn't even been activated yet. And let me teach you this. Pressure doesn't come to destroy you. It comes to reveal you. The reason life has been hard, the reason you've been tested on every side, is because greatness is trying to emerge. Pressure provokes potential. When you squeeze an orange, you get juice. When life squeezes you, what comes out is what was already inside you. So if pain is coming out, it's because it was in you. But if strength, endurance, and wisdom are showing up now, it means that was always in you too. You didn't even know how strong you were until the storm came. You didn't know how much faith you had until the situation tested it. You didn't know how much fight you had left until you were pushed to the wall. And even then, you didn't break. You bent, but you didn't break. You wept, but you didn't quit. You slowed down, but you didn't stop. Why? Because you've got more in you than you think. The enemy's greatest weapon isn't always destruction. It's distraction and deception. If he can get you to believe you're weak, you'll never tap into your strength. If he can get you to believe you're average, you'll never reach for excellence. If he can convince you that you're unworthy, you'll sabotage every blessing that tries to reach you. But the moment you wake up and realize there's more in me, I was made for more, I'm built for more, that's the moment everything starts to shift. Some of you have been living too small, thinking too low, dreaming too safe, settling too early. You're trying to fit into rooms God called you to own. You're shrinking your vision to make other people feel comfortable. You're toning down your light to avoid judgment. But let me say this with love, stop playing small when you've been called to stand tall. You were never meant to just blend in, you were called to stand out. There's a sound you carry, a fire you hold, a light you release that the world needs, and it's time for it to be seen. But you'll never access them more until you get uncomfortable, until you stretch, until you dare to walk by faith and not by sight. That's when the extra inside of you starts to show up. You don't find your full capacity in convenience. You find it in challenge. You don't find your voice in safety. You find it when you risk speaking up, and you don't discover your purpose in theory. You uncover it in movement. You've got to stop waiting for a sign. You are the sign. You are the proof that God still places treasure in jars of clay. You are the evidence that pain can produce purpose. You are the miracle somebody else is praying to see, but you'll never know that if you keep standing at the edge of your potential, scared to leap. So I dare you to go further. I dare you to try again. I dare you to break the box they put you in. I dare you to believe that there's more in you than what your resume says, more than your mistakes, more than your upbringing, more than your environment. Don't die full. Don't leave this earth with your best still inside you. Give the world what God gave you. Pour it out, every idea, every gift, every word, every vision, every breakthrough. You didn't come this far just to play it safe. You came to release what's in you. Because at the end of the day, success is not about what you've collected. It's about what you've released. It's about what you gave birth to, what you sowed, what you sacrificed. And the world is waiting on what's in you, not the imitation version, not the watered-down version, the real, raw, refined. By fire you, so stand up straight, square your shoulders. Look your reflection in the mirror and declare, there is more in me, and I'm not leaving this life until I unleash every ounce of it. You can wait on the job to change. You can wait on the economy to change. You can wait for your spouse to act right, for your children to grow up, for the community to improve, for the church to notice your gift. But until you change, nothing around you really will. You can change your clothes, change your number, change your location, and even change your friends. But if you don't change your mindset, your patterns, and your decisions, you'll keep finding yourself in the same cycles with different scenery. The truth that nobody wants to say out loud is this: life does not get better by accident. Life gets better by intention, and real change is not a matter of time. It's a matter of choice. Growth is not automatic. You don't stumble into transformation. You've got to make a decision that says, I will no longer be who I used to be. I'm done repeating history. I'm not dragging these old habits, old excuses, old wounds into my future. See, most people don't fail because of a lack of opportunity. They fail because of a lack of accountability. It's easy to blame the system, the school, the government, the boss, the ex, the parents. But the day you stop pointing fingers and start looking in the mirror is the day you step into true power. Because you cannot conquer what you are unwilling to confront. And you cannot confront what you keep calling someone else's fault. God can open the door, but you've got to walk through it. God can give the vision, but you've got to write it, build it, protect it, and move in it. God can place favor on your life, but if your attitude is toxic and your discipline is weak, that favor will be wasted. You can't keep praying for new levels while clinging to old versions of yourself. You've got to do the inner work that matches the outer prayers. Some people think change is a moment. It's not. Change is a process. It's waking up every day and choosing differently. Choosing to be disciplined when it's easier to be distracted. Choosing to forgive when it's easier to hold a grudge. Choosing to speak life when your mouth wants to release poison. Choosing to rise early, show up fully, love deeply, and think clearly. That's where transformation happens. Not in the shout, but in the shift. Not in the hype, but in the habit. And let me tell you something that will set you free. You don't need anyone else's permission to change. You don't need a round of applause. You don't need everybody to understand. You don't need everyone to agree. You just need a made-up mind, a deep conviction that says, I refuse to live another year bound by what I was supposed to let go of last year. If you're waiting for someone to come save you, you'll be waiting forever. This is your life. This is your journey. This is your responsibility. You've got to stop letting your history hold your future hostage. I know what they said. I know what they did. I know what you lost. I know what went wrong. But you cannot heal by holding on. You cannot rise while reaching backward. If you want to see change, you've got to start becoming the kind of person who attracts change. Change in your finances starts with how you think about money. Change in your relationships starts with how you handle communication, conflict, and boundaries. Change in your health starts with how you steward your body, not just when it's convenient, but when it's hard. And yes, it's hard. That's why most people don't do it. But hard is not impossible. Difficult is not defeated. You have survived worse. You've already endured more pain than this process will cause. So don't back down because it's uncomfortable. That discomfort you're feeling is the cost of elevation. You don't grow in ease. You grow in the tension between who you've been and who you are becoming. You've got to start thinking higher, acting wiser, walking straighter, talking clearer, loving deeper, living fuller, but all of that starts with one thing: a decision to change, a decision to break cycles, a decision to walk away from what drains you, a decision to choose purpose over pity, growth over gossip, faith over fear, excellence over excuses. It's time to take your power back. No more waiting on the world to fix itself. No more crying over closed doors that were never meant for you. No more shrinking to fit in. No more procrastinating your purpose. If you want to see change, be the change. Be the one who breaks generational curses. Be the one who shifts the legacy. Be the one who leads with integrity. Be the one who shows what is possible when a person refuses to stay the same. Nothing changes until you do, and the moment you do, everything around you starts to shift. Doors open, connections come, opportunities align, not because the world got better, but because you did. So rise up, reset your mind, reinvent your life, realign your priorities, and remember, your future is not waiting on a miracle. It's waiting on you. Now you've heard the call. You've felt the stirring in your soul. You've seen the mirror held up in front of your life. And if this doesn't wake you up, if this doesn't shake you out of your comfort zone, if this doesn't grab your spirit and remind you who you are, then nothing will. Because the truth is, everything you need is already in you. The question is, do you believe it enough to act on it? You've been carrying dreams, assignments, callings, talents, waiting for the right time. But the right time isn't coming. The right version of you is. You are the shift you've been praying for. You are the breakthrough you've been crying for. You are the answer that somebody else is waiting on. You've learned that success doesn't come from what you feel, it comes from what you do. Desire without discipline is just fantasy. Passion without process is just noise. But when you anchor your actions in consistency, when you stop chasing motivation and start building momentum, everything begins to change. You now understand that life isn't just about dreaming bigger, it's about digging deeper. You've got more in you than you think, and sometimes God lets life press on you, not to punish you, but to prove what's in you. Diamonds are formed under pressure. Oil is released under crushing. Glory is born through struggle. So don't run from the fire. Be refined by it, and above all else, never forget. Nothing changes until you do. You can change your friends. You can change your job. You can change your zip code. But if your mindset stays the same, your outcomes will stay the same. You are the common denominator of your destiny, and when you change, the game changes, so I dare you. Yes, I dare you to rise up with conviction, to walk away from excuses, to silence the doubt, to cast off the fear, to stop waiting and start becoming. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your season. You've been equipped. You've been challenged. Now it's time to move, because if this doesn't motivate you, nothing will.